Oh, what's up people, Dobbsyrules is right here. Now this is a massive announcement to you guys, and also this is a big massive, it's not really long, it's just going to be me talking to you guys a little bit of what's going to happen. Now the latest episode that we did, we went ahead and got ourselves and defeated the Trumpeter in Shin Megami Tensei 3. Now we have now defeated every single fiend in the game, meaning we can now go to the Labyrinth of Hell, you know, Labyrinth of Amala. And there's only 3 floors left. Now, if you guys remember in the last few episodes, we did floor 1 to 2 and we got the game over scene. And then I said to myself, I'm going to record the rest of it on my own because it was so damn painful when I was recording it. Now, as you guys know, in the United Kingdom, it is a freaking heat wave right now. Everybody is suffering massively with this heat. The heat is extremely excruciating right now. This thing right here is filled with cold water and ice. And I've got a fan as well. It's still hot in my bedroom. In the games room, it's extremely hot. So what I'm going to do now, people, just to let you guys know, I am not live streaming the Chambers of Amala because it is absolutely going to be a pain in the arse. So what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to capture card the footage of both the 3rd floor, the 4th floor, and the final floor. And I'm going to talk a bit about it. They'll pretty much just let you guys know, the labyrinths are massive. They take me at least 2 to 3 hours to do one now, because the puzzles for the 3rd labyrinth, the 4th, and the 5th is extremely painful if you don't know what you're doing. So I'm going to simplify it and show you clips of it and how to do it, and also the 3 boss fights when you're doing it. And also just to let you guys know who they are. The 3rd floor is Dante, yes, Devil May Cry. The 4th boss is Beelzebub, which is a god that looks like a massive insect. And the 5th floor is Metatron. I know you may be thinking, freaking hell, the Transformers are in the game. It's a massive robotic angel and he is a bitch. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead, enjoy the heat as much as I can, but I'm freaking dying right now, and enjoy the clips of the final labyrinth of hell. And I'll see you guys very soon for the next live stream when we're doing the diet building, which is the final area of the game. See you guys soon, and remember, this is a premiere, so I will be in the chat. Come say hi to me. See you in a bit, bye! Now, welcome people to the 3rd Kalpa. Now, what I want to tell you right now, the 3rd Kalpa is actually straightforward. You mainly have your main antagonist facing the legend himself, Dante. Now, the one thing about him though, he can be a bit of an arsehole because he will chase you all the way through this stupid puzzle. And the puzzle is actually quite straightforward. There's 2 floors. The 1st floor you have to unlock 2 buttons to press on. The 3rd floor, the 2nd floor that you need to go through, is 3 buttons. 2 of them are straightforward. The 3rd one is super difficult because there are invisible walls. But when you've done that, you can now press on with that floor and face him head on. Now the one thing about him though is that he can do a lot of damage to you if you're not prepared. Reason why is that he can easily take you out with one foul swoop if you're not prepared. If you're under-leveled, don't do it because it's an absolute suicide. Now, back to the puzzle though. If you do get captured by Dante whilst doing them flipping puzzles, you will reset the whole puzzle over again. Meaning you have to do the whole thing again, trial and error. But also, if he does capture you, he will deal damage on you. But also, he has a special move that instant kills anyone, including yourself. So make sure you're prepared and have good RNG in that fight because you cannot kill him. Either way, after you've defeated the puzzle, you get to face Dante right there and now. So there's no prepping. If you know when it happens, prepare yourself, because if you don't, you're going to get yourself really into deep trouble. Now with him though, he's not really a pushover. He can hurt you a lot, but best thing to do is literally debuff him all the way down. Don't go too far though, because it has a special move called the Holy Star, which is a move that actually gets rid of all the buffs and debuffs on himself and also on the opponent. But the main thing for it though is to lower his buffs down just by 2. So mainly use 2 debilitates, or 1 debilitate and 1 fog breath or a war cry. Then after that, start wailing on him with Zen moves. Zen moves or almighty moves or even physical attacks. After that's done, he's over and done with. Now you may be thinking, can I get past Dante? Sadly you can't go past him because the guy is, no joke, the one that you have to take on, because he has one of the candelabras that he actually took from a fiend. So you have to beat him before anything else. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what happens when we beat him, shall we?
That swordsman with his immeasurable strength and 2 pistols. I see you survive the battle against him. The demon inside you will continue to be your source of strength during your quest. Power. It is sought by all. Whether it is the power of light or the power of darkness, people rely on it and pray. They pray, wishing for greater power. A woman you know well prayed to a god in hopes of saving the world. Let me tell you about that god. Aradia, god of falsehood. She is from a vortex world beyond the boundaries of this world. In the Amala universe, where time and space melt together and flow as one, there exist countless vortex worlds. One of these worlds is where Aradia originated. As you are already aware, this vortex world was made by the true power of creation. But in shadow lies a world where those branded as false gather, and that is the vortex world where Aradia once resided. Those who dwell there wish for one thing: for their existence to become real. To find the means, they depart into the ocean of Amala and seek out worlds that hold the power of creation. Aradia is a tragic savior, born of dreams. She emerged in response to the cries of witches who were persecuted for their beliefs. The witches prayed to Aradia for power and freedom. They also prayed for people to be saved from the hardships of life. However, Aradia never showed herself on Earth, nor did she save anyone. She was a god who could only give hope to her believers. Humans, whom God created a new god. Anything is possible in the vast ocean of Amala. Nevertheless, Aradia is still an outsider. There is little that she can do in a vortex world where her existence is forbidden. She is merely the god of forsaken freedom. There are many you have spoken to. The fiends. Us. You have heard the voice of the Absolute One too. But please know this. In the everlasting flow of Amala, we have long waited for you, for this time to come. The true significance of the candelabra and the labyrinth of Amala, the new demon of chaos, whom all are waiting for in anticipation, and the final moment that my master awaits. You must be overwhelmed by it all. Naoki, if you can restore the candelabra to their original places and come here once again, then at that time, I will tell you the answers to all your questions.
Now that you've done the third caliper, now it gets really difficult, really fast. You're going into the 4th floor, the 4th Kalpa, and oh boy, it is Beelzebub. Beelzebub is pretty much a word associating with Satan, and this guy does not like playing around. You may be thinking, why? Well, first off, before you start the 4th floor, you have to go and have yourself the Matama Satan equipped. If you don't have that equipped, say goodbye to all your chances, because if you don't, you are royally screwed, because the guy instantly casts out either death from holy or from actual dark moves. If he casts you with death as a dark move, it's purely game over, because this guy has super high buffs, super high debuffs, amazing stats. His attack and magic is insane, and his luck is not very good, but his defense is insane. Really insane. It's very buffy. But the best thing for him to do with him is definitely debuff him as soon as, but we'll get to that fight in a second. The first room when you step in the 4th Kalpa, is that the whole room is poison, meaning it will half your HP down to nearly nothing. Just like the 2nd Kalpa that we did a few weeks back, that was not fair. But then when you press on, you find yourself some vortex walls. Now this is the trick of it. You have to make sure to get to Beelzebub that the moon, which is on the top left corner, says new. If he has anything else on it, don't go in the vortex. Make sure that moon is saying new. When it says new, you can go in and go straight ahead and fight Beelzebub. Now, when you go into Beelzebub, this is when it becomes insane. Now, before you go in, make sure you're in the room called Hell's Hall, and then go through a door that says the Wicked King's Hall to face Beelzebub. Now, in the battle, instantly go ahead and start debuffing and buffing your stats and his stats, but make sure you do not overdo it. Pretty much I'd say 2 debilitate, or 1 debilitate and 1 fog breath, or a war cry. Nothing else, because he will use Dikaja, which will destroy all the buffs and debuffs. And also, like I said, he uses standard attacks, he uses death, he uses Zen moves, and Zeo. So make sure your team doesn't have any of them weaknesses. If they have them weaknesses, you are done, okay? So make sure your team has all them buffs. Now, Beelzebub also has a very, very high rate that he dodges these moves. That's why I always say use Fog Breath, because when you use Fog Breath, it lowers his invasion and hit rate, meaning he can't hit you, but you can hit him. But also, he randomly uses the Almighty moves, and if he uses Almighty moves, make sure your defense is high up. If you don't, you're royally screwed. And the best thing as well, to kill this dude, I would definitely suggest using fire moves. That's it. Fire moves or physical moves. That is it. Don't try and use ice. Don't try and use lightning or Zen, because that will heal him. And also, try using some Almighty moves, but the Almighty is a miss and hit. So that's all I really want to say. Hit him with fire, hit him with some physicals, debuff him as much as you can, but be careful, do not overdo it. Now let's see what the young lady and the old man has to say.
You've restored all the candelabra to their rightful places. I promised earlier that I would answer all of your questions, sparing no detail. It may have occurred to you that the candelabra were not in fact stolen. In truth, my master gave them to those who he deemed worthy. I must apologize for not being honest with you, but there is a reason. If you listen to what I have to say, I am sure you will understand. The forces of light and darkness have fought throughout the universe, even beyond the flow of time. Their battles have affected every living being in existence. Demons and humans are no exception. They have simply been cogwheels in the infernal machine called war. and the war still rages on, even as we speak. However, one individual vowed to put an end to this eternal war. He decided to create a demon of chaos, one that would inherit his will, and enter the final battle against the forces of light. The fiends were prepared for the creation of that demon. He believed that by challenging and overcoming death, the demon would become the fruit of destruction, the black hope that we awaited for so long. That is what he and my master planned. The fiends and the Labyrinth of Amala were ordeals meant to test you. One fiend challenged you, unaware of the truth, while another fiend fell to you, dreaming of a future of chaos. Yes, this was all in preparation for the final battle. You have vanquished all the fiends, and now you stand here, just as he hoped, a demon with the strength to become the champion of chaos. Hidoshura, will you lend your strength to us? For the sake of all who live in darkness, I cannot force you to help us. If you choose to walk the path of a human, then there is no need for you to return here. But if you have doubts about the laws of the universe, about fate, or the providence of the Absolute One, then you should come to us at the very bottom of the labyrinth. There you shall be born again, as a full demon, body and soul. Let me conclude by telling you about a human who has crossed your path, one who is drifting, being kept alive by fate. It is my master's wish that you listen before deciding upon a path to take. The man I'm referring to was known as Hajiri in your previous world. He died, but as fate would have it, he carried on in the Vortex world. Think back to when you first met him, to when the conception occurred. Yes, he did lose his life, like all the others. As he was heading to the hospital, where you already were, the conception began, and his life ended. Did it not seem odd to you that he was in the Vortex world unaffected, unchanged? It was all because of the mortal sin which he committed. He was being toyed with by fate, condemned to carry the burden of atonement forever. His punishment was to see with his own eyes all that happens in the world, to record the balance of events through all the ages, a task as endless as scooping water out of the sea with a cup. He was condemned to wander the infinite span of time. Man can change the course of his next life by his karma, but that privilege was taken away from Hajiri. Though his body may perish, his soul will remain unsaved. He must continue on with his task. He lives a cursed eternal life, just like a demon. Watch and record the history of the world. Witness the eternity of the endless war between order and chaos. That is your punishment for your unforgivable sin. Do you understand now? By the will of Amala, he was given a life of torment and emerged in the Vortex world without realizing that he had died. Soon after, your paths crossed again. That is probably because you have the potential to affect the course of the new world. So by accompanying you, he has unknowingly been fulfilling his destiny. Tragically, he has no memory of his sin, his punishment, or even his death. He believes that he survived the conception and has acted accordingly. As for the result of his efforts, you already know this outcome. In the body of a mannequin, Hajiri challenged those vying for creation, and he lost his body once again. He is now on a journey to a new land of suffering, but his will can never be freed, and his sin never redeemed. Do you want your life to be predestined as well, or would you rather choose your own actions? If you do not wish to be ruled by destiny, if you prefer to walk with demons on a new untrodden path, then please come visit my master. You can open the door ahead with the candelabra I gave you. Will you come to meet my master? Then, we will be waiting in the deepest part of the labyrinth. I will open the way to the last door. Please use the candelabrum and come see us. We look forward to seeing you soon. Until then.
Now, to get to the 5th Kalpa is quite annoying. The main thing you need to do after you defeat Beelzebub is find a key, and when you found the key, you can finally press on in the 5th Kalpa. If you want to know more about that, I'd insist you to definitely look up on the walkthrough because it took me hours to find this out. But anyhow, when you go ahead and head into the 5th Kalpa, you will encounter Dante one last time. However, he will not hurt you. He will actually insist you in your team, meaning you can have him as a party member, which is the best thing ever. Now, a lot of people have on and off things about him, meaning he's good, he's terrible. I think he's absolutely amazing to face Metatron. Now, the best thing for him though, he has his little tiny swerves. He'll flip a coin. Never pick tails. If you pick tails, he'll take half your money. So literally, don't do it. Always pick heads, never tails. If you do that, like I said, you'll lose a lot of money. And literally, I have about 1 million coins in this game now, and I would lose 500,000. I would be very upset. So, after you go ahead and pick heads, he will ask for 1 coin for him to join your team. So make sure you have a spare slot for your party members. If you don't, he will just stand there waiting for you to pick him. So now, this is the big part. Before you go ahead and face Metatron, make sure you have an equipment of Expel Null, meaning you will be immune to light and dark death moves. That means Hammer and Madoom. Pretty much the first thing he does, Metatron, is use one of them 2 moves, and if you don't have that in your arsenal, you're going to have an instant game over. That's why this guy is very, very cheap. However, as well, the guy is level 80, so make sure you are up to scratch with your levels. If you're not up to scratch with your levels, do not try this fight. Now, a lot of people say the best thing to hit him with is with ice moves like Bufu or Glacier. Now, that is a good opportunity to do that, but to be honest, anything works, but he is not weak against anything. So he's not weak against the death moves. He's not weak against fire, lightning, Zen, blizzard, physical moves, anything. He is literally a god. So mainly you just have to keep on hacking, slashing him every single second. Now, a lot of you guys might be thinking, what does Metatron look like? Well, before we go into the fight and talk a bit more about it, hear what he looks like.
Now, I can see by the darkness in your soul You have chosen to disregard my warning. You are beyond the point of redemption. I cannot turn a blind eye to the fallen angels' abominable plan to foster the birth of a new demon. Delivering the candelabra to the Labyrinth of Amala is just as grave a sin. Listen, fiend! Foul demon whose soul is tainted with darkness. Listen and tremble in fear. I am Metatron. I am one with God. By his will, I shall destroy you. Feel the wrath of God, disciple of darkness.
Okay, Metatron, one of the most hardest bosses in the game in my eyes. There is 2 others later on in the game when you see me live streaming are actually quite harder than him, but they all pretty much exactly the same. And as you can see, the first thing he hits you with is a doom move or a hammer move. Make sure you are protected. Now, I definitely suggest you guys to have definitely Dante, also Tatiana if you do have her, and Amatsurusu. If you do have them too, you're pretty much nice and safe. But if you don't, there is other good ones out there. If you are highly leveled up, Shiva is an absolute amazing one to have. Queen Mab is a good one. I'm trying to remember. There's a lot of great ones. Definitely Daisaijo if you need to. Some of the fiends are actually quite useful in this fight as well, but mainly, like I said, make sure your characters are level 80. If you're not level 80 or under, I mean, if you're over level 80, you're gonna have a good time, but if you're not, you're gonna have a really bad time. Now, like I said, this guy, Metatron, has the best buffs, the best debuffs, the best unique skills, the best almighty moves, and he doesn't have a weakness. This guy's an asshole. But the best thing to do is try and get crits as much as you can, because this guy's stats are above the chain. He's insane. So the best thing to do is definitely have your Dante use Provoke to lower his defense, and then wail on him. But also, if he starts using buffs and debuffs, make sure you use Dante's special move, the Holy Star, to remove the debuffs. Then you will able to beat him. But like I said, do not trifle with him because he is a pain. And now, let's see what the young lady and the old man has to say.
You are here, at last. We have long awaited this moment. In the everlasting flow of Amala, you have retrieved all the candelabra and triumphed over the mightiest warrior of light. You are the demon that we have been waiting for. Did you hear that, Naoki? All of the demons are celebrating the birth of the new demon of darkness, hoping that you and the fallen angel will break the chains and defeat the Absolute One. There is no turning back. We, the ones cast into darkness, shall face those that live in the light. The final battle is about to begin. But first, you must return to your world and increase your strength by defeating the humans who are vying for control of creation and Kagetsuchi, the source of creation. A man who envisions a world of silence, Ahriman, god of the void, lends him strength. A young woman who values power above all else, The god Baal Avatar has descended upon her. A young man yearning to live in solitude. His strength comes from Noah, the wandering god. And Kagutsuchi, the light that watches over the vortex world, as well as creation. When you have defeated those foes, you will be accepted and honored by us all. My master would like to help you prepare for the forthcoming battles by sharing a portion of his power. He shall release the hidden power of the Magatama that you have received. You have cast away your human form, and as a fiend, conquered all deaths. You were given the body of a demon when you entered the vortex world, and now it is time for you to receive the heart of a demon. As my master wishes, you shall be born again as a demon of chaos, harbinger of the final battle. May you prevail, our strength, our hope.
After that cutscene, you get something extremely special. The very first matter that you ever collected in the beginning of the game has a new move. Make sure you get that move before you get to level 99, because if you don't, you've lost it for good. It is the best move in the game. Why? Because it makes you like a freaking god. I'm serious. It's the best move in the game. So if you want to make it a bit harder for yourself, definitely don't get it. But if you want it a bit more easy, use that move because it would so damn help you out. Now, that is all I've got time for today, people. That's all we have to do. But either way, hopefully you guys are excited for the next episode when we're moving to the diet building, but also face a secret boss. With that being said, the people at Mr. Luke will see you guys for subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheerio!